Okay, we're back with another episode of High Rated Edison, and today we have Chris K on 1171 rating versus Bog Monster on 1262 rating. So both players quite deep into the top 100 and fighting for their spots to stay there. So opening hands are D Prison, Eradicator, Elfin, Burial, and Deck Devi. Card Trooper, Sirocco, D Prison, Caius, Dad, and Charge. Wow, what a hand. So this is the Vayu deck. If you've not read Elfin before, it's just used as a level 6 Blackwing monster. Most of the time it does have an actual effect, but it rarely comes up. It's used with like Greffa, so you can pitch like an Elfin or a Vayu with the Greffa and then dump the other one, and then you can make an Armor Master which works with the Eradicator. So Deck Devi, you need a you need a 2000 attack Dark Monster. Eradicate, you need a 2500 attack Dark Monster. So the idea is that Elfin just kind of makes you make Armor Master faster, and then you have both virus cards available to you. Chris K going first, so let's see how it goes. We're going to start with Charge. They're going to mill Deck Devi, Necro, and TT. Not bad. The Necro is pretty good. Going to grab the Raikou. I set the Card Trooper out. I like that because they might think this is Raikou, try and destroy it, and the D Prison. So draws into the Plague. Plague going to try and get in now. That's going to get in that with D Prison. Yeah, and they're not going to set anything because they think this is Raikou. So this is nice. This is a good little mind game that Chris is playing right now. Draws into the Vayu. Going to flip the Card Trooper now, which would have survived anyway. But it's always nice to get a Plague out of there. Card Trooper going to mill the Chaos Sork, the Mirror Force, and the Allure. Not great, but they're not far off Dad. So this is not terrible. Going to get him for 19 now. Set the Vayu and pass. Draw into the Caius. Oh yeah, they're going to have to do a lot to try and just do anything this turn, but they aren't going to do it. They're going to Burial back the Plague. They're going to stack. They're going to summon out the Plague. They're going to Tribute for Caius. Get rid of the face down that they still think is Raikou. And attack into the Card Trooper, which is going to give Chris another draw. Or Chris is going to Necro Gardener it and keep milling. Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. So setting the Deck Devi now, which is good with the Caius obviously, and D Prison. So drawing into the Gauze now. Okay, main phase. They're going to mill with the Card Trooper. Yeah, I don't think you can Deck Devi. Yeah, I don't think you Deck Devi in standby. So you destroy the Card Trooper. I do think you just let it go this way. Okay, I don't know why it's engraved though. Oh, for Caius, right, there we go. So tribute for Caius. Caius is, so they're going to Deck Devi their Caius so that it can't get tribute for Caius, and they get a look at the hands. They're going to rip the Raikou out, which they knew about, and they're going to see the Gauze, Sirocco, Dad. Battle Phase is going to get in now. They still don't have enough darks, do they? No, okay. So Battle Phase is getting in for 24 now. It's going to get met with a D Prison. Pass. Draw into another copy of Eradicator. That was the same copy of Eradicator that they stacked, right? Draws into MST now. So reveals the MST. Passes. Draws into the Upstart. Draws into Gale. Passes. Draws into Burial. Or is this game? No, right, because they can't get the Sirocco out. No, this hand is getting close to being a game hand. Draws into Eradicator. Okay. Passes. Draws into Plague. Sets the Plague. Passes. Draws into Upstart. Upstart for Armor Knight. Okay, they're going to have to summon that now, which is going to turn Sirocco on. Armor Knight is going to dump the Vayu. Yeah, unfortunately, they've still got the Elfin in hand. Yeah, really unfortunate. There's not a lot Bog Monster can do right now. So that plays engraved now. Now I think this is game. So let's see if we can work it out. So they have 3 darks engrave, including a Plague Spreader. They have a Sirocco that can come out. And they have a set Burial, which can put back a Vayu and some other darks. So what is it? Let's see if we can figure it out. Sirocco, obviously, first step. Plague. What are you doing then? Sirocco, Dad. Plague for a level 7 with Sirocco. Burial. for the Plague, the Vayu, the Gardener, and then and then just win from there, right, with the Armed Wing. Yeah, let's see if we're right. So Sirocco comes out, Dad comes out because they've got 3 engrave. Chris gonna hit the think there. I think they see the line we see. Plague Spreader comes out now. So this is a level 7. Black Rose, no effect, obviously. Burial. Put back Plague. Put back Gardener. Put back Vayu. Yeah, that's more than enough. So from here it's just Vayu for the Armed Wing. Banish the Armor Knight, I guess. Pop this, and then you've got 23, 24, 28 in, which is more than enough for game. Yeah, nice. Wow. Really strong conversion in that turn. Okay. Going into game number 2 now. Bog Monster is going to get to go first. Opening hands of D Prism, Vayu, Cyber Dragon, Deck Devi, and Kaiku. Bottomless, Rota, Vayu, Hamster, Armor Knight, and Plague. Okay, this is not bad actually, is it? Just looking at this hand, it's not bad. So they've always got Greffer later as well. So set the Hamster, set the Bottomless, and pass. Draws into the Greffer themselves. Oh, that's really good. So Greffer here, going to dump the Vayu, dump the Sirocco. Okay, going into battle phase now. Not going to get over the Hamster, and that's going to result in a set Raikou, but this does make... Yeah, if they don't Bottomless your Armed Wing, this deck Devi could go a bit ham. They are going to Bottomless it, yeah. I think that's correct, because you know that they're playing this stuff as well. Draws into the MST now, so going to start with Plague. Start with Plague. Oh, they're going to take the Greffer. Okay, let's see it. So, yeah, Plague announced for Goyo. Goyo take the Greffer. Use the Greffer for the Vayu and the Elfin. Yeah, so going straight for the Elfin. Do you go for Elfin there? Because, yeah, I guess you haven't seen a Iris card yet. This just does put you on both, but I guess you want to keep Sirocco's in deck actually, as you're both playing Black Wings. I think that's right. It's just that, so my theory is just that obviously with Sirocco you make an Armed Wing, and then with an Armed Wing and another Vayu you make an Armor Master, and then with an Armor Master and another Vayu you make a Silverwind, whereas this just going straight into Armor Master only gives you 2 conversions. So yeah, that's all I was thinking of there. So Cyber Dragon coming down now with the Kaiku, that's going to get over the Greffer, going to attack in, the Raikou's going to pop the Kaiku, because obviously this is at the minute stopping you from banishing cards. They're going to mill the Sirocco. Oh god, they milled the Sirocco and the Vayu. Okay, this one's over. So what's the line? Let's see what happens when they get to their turn actually first. So set the Deck Devi, set the D Prism. Yeah, they're 1 dark away from a dad, so they can't convert the Deck Devi. Got D Prism down, and they got an MST for it. Okay, let's see what the draw is. Yeah, so there is a line here to game, surely, right? So it's, what is it? It's Gale can half this. You can bring out an Armor Master and an Armed Wing. You can convert the Armed Wing into a level 8 of your choice, so probably Stardust. And that is just going to be enough, right? Yeah, I think that's going to be enough. So let's see how they decide to do it. So going to Vayu now. Okay, Chris K does. Yeah, Chris doesn't want to see it. Yeah, so I think let me just confirm. So I think the line is Vayu with Elfin for Armor Master, Vayu with Sirocco for Armed Wing, Plague Spreader stack, bring itself out for a level 8 Synchro, and then I think that's just enough with a halved Cyber Dragon. So yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, really cool to see the kind of conversions these guys are getting towards game shots here from quite high life points as well. So game 3 now. Chris K is going to get to go first. Opening hands are Rota, Dad, Armor Knight, Deck Devi, Gauze, Greffer, Raikou, D Prism, 2 Siroccos, and a Kaiku. Okay, so going to start with the Greffer. Greffer pitch, Sirocco, dump Vayu, sorry. Going to use these now. Yeah, I guess while your opponent doesn't have any way to kind of bottomless this yet, you may as well bring it out. So sets the D Prison and passes, draws into the Vayu. Well, the Vayu draw is kind of broken. actually, because the rotor for Greffa is huge. Yeah, okay, rotor for Greffa. Specifically because Bog Monster plays Elfin, this is really good, because they can crash the Greffas and they can beat over their Armed Wing with an Armor Master instead. So, yeah, makes sense. So yeah, gonna Greffa, Vayu and the Elfin, use the Vayu and the Elfin for the Armor Master. Armor Master could get over the Armed Wing if not for the D-Prison, but I understand why they took that risk, and they can crash there as well. I wonder if, hindsight being that they have a virus in hand, they'd have chosen to set to not attack and just set the virus instead and just crash. But yeah, I guess with Gauze in hand and Dad not a million miles from being online while you still got Armor Knight in hand, I think you're gonna use this deck Devi at some point. Okay, so gonna set the Vayu now and pass, choosing not to play into Gauze, that makes sense. Choosing the Gale now, so Armor Knight gonna dump the Vayu and gonna attack. Okay, okay, yeah, they just want to do it this turn. Okay, gonna attack into the Armed Wing. That destroys the Armor Knight, and then they can bring out the Dad. Greffa pops the face down. Armor Knight pops the Armed Wing. They're gonna set deck Devi and pass. Yeah. Was that worth it? Because you're on 71, you probably weren't going to die next turn. Were you? They didn't have Plague in rotation, did they? No. So, yeah, because that is so impactful. I wonder if you just summon the Armor Knight dump and then just leave it. But I guess this means that you definitely get to deck Devi. Okay, I mean, Bog Monster is so high rated. I'm not questioning their plays. They're obviously seeing this from a slightly different view as well. We have perfect information, but yeah, I'm just thinking how I would play this out and how they've played it out, but this still looks really good. So the pickup, was the pickup there Gauze? So it's Kaiku, Raikou, Gauze, Sirocco. Wow, the Gauze is quite huge. So Sirocco coming down now. Yeah, they've got Vayu and Armed Wing in the grave to make an Armor Master big enough to get over this. Yeah, they're going to pump now. Do you deck Devi here? Because if you deck Devi, you are going to take 45 to the face, but you are going to get a massive token, and you're going to get a look at the hand. Yeah, I think you do. Yeah, Bog Monster thinks so too. So they're going to deck Devi now. They're going to rip the Raikou, but they are going to see the hand, and they're going to take 45 to the face, but they're going to make the biggest Gauze token we've seen in a while. So it's a 45 token Gauze, and they're going to get to see the next 2 draws. Drawn to Cyber Dragon. So yeah, this can clear up the field. So token into the Sirocco for 25, and then because this was summoned by Vayu, it doesn't have its effect, meaning it is not immune to battle, and it's going to get beat over for 200 as well. Going to pass now. Draws into Gale. Yeah, scoops it up. Yeah, so Gale looks good here, but they are under deck Devi, so they're going to have to reveal it and discard it. And then they've just got Kaiku and Gauze. They is this a bit premature? So they do have Gauze, which is going to help them survive a turn. But I guess what can they draw to win them the game? They have 3 darks, and they've not used their Dad. Although Gauze would then be a 4th dark. I do wonder if this is a bit premature from Chris. So say he passes back, he pitches the Gale, passes back. What's their grave setup? Yeah, their grave setup is another Vayu. Okay, that's kind of worrying, but it still doesn't guarantee they've got game this turn. So Chris can take one of the attacks, even the 45 one, Gauze, and then survive the turn. And there's not anything that Bog Monster can do to win this turn, I don't think, unless they can't get a synchro off. No, I think they've scooped prematurely there. But yeah, I mean, look at what they're facing down. I can understand why. Really good match to watch. This Virus Vayu deck, it's funny because I think it kind of, with the Elfin in rotation and stuff, it does kind of make the deck more oppressive than a standard Vayu deck. But I do wonder if it's always worth it, because the Eradicator stuff is great when you're up against like Gig of Eyes or something that's going to use like a high spell or trap count. But a lot of the time it doesn't feel worth it. to main it, I feel like you can kind of convert it with a Vayu deck as standard anyway. So I think I'd probably look into doing that more. They weren't playing any of the big machine card that you can use as like a set, like level 7 25 attack. I'm forgetting the name of it, that you can then set and just use with any of the virus cards. So they're not leaning so heavily into the virus side of it, but I do just wonder if this is worth it. It obviously came out on top against the standard Vayu deck this time round, and these are two really good players, quite high ranked on the ladder, but I'm not sure this converts well over a long tournament. Really cool to see it in action though. Elfin, really cool card, comes in a lovely ultimate rare for any of you rarity hunters out there. And not much to say on the way these guys played this out. I think they both played really well, really heads up play. The deck Debbie Dad stuff into this 45 token is just huge. So I can understand why Chris really didn't want to carry on this game, even though they could have survived another turn. Great one to watch though. Two really good players at the highest level in a really competitive game 3. So great to see it.